The 567th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is offering plenty of markets for this week's PGA Championship that you can't find anywhere else. Sign up with promo code MMA SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN.
Howdy ho, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 567 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. This episode is dedicated to the youngest of the Vreeland clan who just celebrated a birthday. And what does all 4-year-olds in the world want for a birthday present? They want a UFC Vegas 92 prelim episode dedicated to them. So dreams do come true, ladies and gentlemen. I'm one of your hosts, Jeff Chalks Fox. I used to give these children of Gumby's good presents, like real presents. Now I give them episodes of mediocre UFC Apex events, but hey, them's the breaks. We got a mediocre UFC Apex event to cover for you today, but that doesn't mean we're not going to make any money and have some fun doing it. I figured a new way of, like, not handicap, but a new way of determining how strong a fight card is how many fights do I go, this guy's not going to win, and then I do the research on the opponent. I'm like, oh, that guy's not going to win either. And so there's a few of those fights here. We're like, what? This guy's never going to win the UFC again. And then to see who the opponent is. So there's a few of those here. It took a bit more research. I probably didn't do enough research, but that's what Gumby's here for. He knows what everyone from top to bottom. He's seen all their fights, all that good stuff. Let's bring him in now. It's the one and only Daniel Gumby Vreeland. Hello.
So first of all, shout out to some of your past presents, which are still in my house. Okay. Got a Mickey Mouse Atlanta Braves blanket that my kids still make good use of.
Good.
Yeah, that one's still kicking around. And you're not going by my old way of weighing.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah. When you look at the co-main event and you're like, is this worthy of a co-main event? And this is, we're looking at Chaos Williams versus Carlston Harris, and Carlston Harris riding a 2-fight losing streak, and Chaos Williams hasn't fought in a year. Like, woo! We are we're making that a co-main event, are we?
Yeah.
The year of our Lord 2024. So this is a card that I think has a ton of value on it, and also is maybe going to be one of the most brutal to watch.
But before we move on, and you trash Carlston Harris some more. He's on 2-fight winning streak. You said losing. He's won 2 straight, right? Put some respect in the man's name.
Oh, he stole a victory from Jeremiah Wells after getting beat up by him for a whole round.
Yep. A win's a win. Like I said before we went on air, a win is a win. So we should probably crack into it. Like, we've talked badly about events before, and it doesn't mean we aren't going to win money on it. And a lot of times these events turn out to be fun to actually watch. So we'll see if there's any firework matches here or not. The main event could be like Edson Barboza is Mr. Fireworks himself. So that should be fun. But that is tomorrow. Yeah, we're making you wait a whole day to hear our picks for that. Today is all about the prelims. We got 7 fights. We had some musical chairs going on with one of the, I guess basically it was only the one fight. One fight we kept having new people subbed in, but as of this recording, it is firmed up. All the regional events love to change their cards a second after we drop the episode. So that's always fun.
Yeah.
Like LFA just, UFC used to do that back in the good old days, the pandemic days. It used to be like, we would break down a card and then it would be totally changed by the time the episode dropped. But that hasn't happened for a while. Thank goodness gracious. Before we move on, though, who am I telling you about this week? Oh, yeah, it's WNBA week. And people care about WNBA now because of their rookie class that's in. Looking for more ways to get paid watching hoops? Check out the WNBA podcast back this week. Plus, did you know you get every single podcast SGPN releases all in one place? Just smash the SGPN network feed wherever you listen to your podcasts. And our viewers on YouTube see the nice graphic Gumby made with a bunch of our podcasts logos right in the back. So good job, Gumby. He's also a digital expert, apparently, digital artist. Sure. You made the logo for my Substack. It's true. Money MMA is. I
do the graphics. I do the graphics every week for our Lock Dog Prop over on Twitter. So make sure you follow us on Twitter at SGPN MMA.
And sometimes he puts Tabitha Ricci on a graphic,
a thumbnail
on YouTube, on YouTube, and people go all the pervs go all crazy, like, who is that? Whoa.
My favorite part of that is that I looked to go see how many views we had on that prelim episode, and it was twice as many as the main card because it's just like people being like, do you think she's in the video?
Yeah, exactly. And people are asking who she is. Well, like, why are you looking at her videos if you don't know? Like, it's not like she's not
like an unknown person. Yeah.
Yeah, she's been around for a while.
She was also holding a stuffed shark in the picture.
Exactly. So shout out to Baby Shark, who's a friend of Gumby's other podcast. So and she got an exciting win last weekend. Boy, oh boy. Actually, I hit my prop bet thanks to her. So she will forever be in our hearts. Let's see if anyone works their way into our hearts this weekend. UFC Fight Night Barboza versus Murphy is the event that we're bad mouthing. It's going down this Saturday as per usual, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We like that for the prelims, and that's what today is all about. We got 7 prelim fights to break down, so I should probably stop jibber jabbering and jump right into it. UFC Apex as per usual, but Dana White once again claims they're gonna move out of the UFC Apex soon, and they're gonna hit the road. And we'll see.
They're just moved WWE cards into the Apex.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not taking anything out of there.
Yep, it's true. They make a lot of money when they do leave the Apex, but that would involve actually like putting on half decent fight cards. So even
though that St. Louis one did
exactly
huge numbers, and it was pretty much just Derek Lewis taking his ass out.
Yep.
So
too bad your kid wasn't born a bit earlier. He could have had that one instead of this one. But anyhow,
yeah, it's too bad.
Let's jump into it. Another favorite of ours, Vanessa Demopoulos, is in the opener. I say her name properly now. I put some respect on it. It is a women's strawweight fight, kicking things off for us. Emily Ducote, if she's from Quebec, it would be Ducote versus Vanessa Demopoulos, who has the Greek flag, but I believe she is born and raised in the U.S. Is she not?
She is, just a Greek descent. Okay. Yeah.
Yep, Greek descent. If the Demopoulos last name didn't give anything away. All right. Let's break her down with Demopoulos first. Of course, she's Lil Monster. Is she on your Top Turtle podcast this week, Gumby?
She is not. Yeah. It hasn't dropped at the time of recording, but those of you who are listening, you can catch the aforementioned Chaos Williams as well as LFA's Cody Davis this week.
Hear that? Scuba. Hear that? Gumby has another podcast you should listen to once in a while, all right? All right, Lil Monster is 10-5, 1 knockout, 4 submissions, never been finished in a fight, 4-2 in the UFC, 4-1 over her last 5. She did win her last fight. She's missed weight before. She was the LFA champion. Used to fight at flyweight. She's been outstruck in the UFC by 1.62 strikes per minute. You can kind of tell if you look at pictures of her. She's got a bloody nose quite often. She's at plus 275. Ducote famously is Gordina, meaning chubby, 13-8, 3 knockouts, 4 submissions. She's been knocked out. Submitted once, 2-2 in the UFC, 1-2 over her last 3. She did win her last fight, 4-1 in Invicta and the champion there. So we got a Invicta champ versus LFA champ here. Used to fight at flyweight as well. 4-4 in Bellator, 4 inches of reach on Demopoulos, 6 years younger. Better striking stats, twice more active landing strikes than Demopoulos is. She's still, despite all that, she has been outstruck in the UFC by 1.05 strikes per minute, minus 340. And lest anyone thinks she's chubby, she's not. She's ripped. Oh, all right, go ahead.
I'm actually gonna go demo. I'm gonna take a Little Monster here. First of all, the line is just too wide. I can't get behind Emily Ducote at negative 300. Like that's wild to me. She hasn't looked good in the UFC. Apart from her debut where she ripped the leg kicks over and over and over and over and over again. Like apart from that, she's looked terrible since being there. It looks like she can't find range. She doesn't put enough volume out there. It doesn't look like she can do damage with her strikes, other than, again, those leg kicks, those clearly did it. But like, it doesn't look like she can go in there and do damage. And I know, obviously, we got the Invicta knockout that everybody talks about of, what was it, Danielle Taylor, she kicked in the head. And like, the power is there. But since fighting this higher level of competition, she's just kind of like, she's looked like a volume puncher who doesn't have a lot of volume. And that, to me, doesn't play well against Vanessa Demopoulos because, again, Vanessa Demopoulos, maybe not the best striker on the planet. I don't even think she's particularly good when she is on the feet. I don't know how I feel about her wrestling, but the one thing is she's gritty, right? Like she'll get in your face. She'll make you fight a fight. She'll take you to the ground, and she's really sharp once she's on the ground, right? Is Ducote good enough to survive with her on the ground? Maybe not, but at like plus, what did you say, 275? I'm willing to find out.
Yeah, I was gonna pick Ducote, not liking the number. I was gonna say it's really hard to pick against Vanessa Demopoulos, but why would I pick against Vanessa Demopoulos at these numbers? As Gumby said, I know she's gonna bring it regardless. Whether she wins or not, she's gonna bring it. The thing with her is always a athleticism disadvantage, but I don't think she's going to be overwhelmed, as you said.
And what'd you say the height and reach was in this one?
Ducote's got 4 inches on her. That's it. Height's the same, so not massive because Demopoulos doesn't like to stay striking for too long anyhow.
Well, and she gets in your face. She gets close to you, which is sort of why I asked. Like, does Ducote have the jab enough to keep her at bay? I don't know, but 4 inches might help her a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Let's play the lines, which I usually don't do, but I think it makes sense here. So let's both go with a Demopoulos. She is a little monster in there. The nickname is definitely fitting for that. All right, we're gonna switch over to the men's side for a fight, and we're gonna go up to bantamweight. Alatengheili versus Kleydson Rodrigues. We got China versus Brazil here at 135 pounds. I will tell you about Alateng, Hailey. The Mongolian Knight is 16-9-2, 5 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. Sorry, knocked out 3 times, submitted once. 4-2-1 in the UFC, 2-1 over his last 3, including losing his last fight. He used to fight up at featherweight, 1-0 in one championship, the biggest promotion in the history of mankind. 2013 pro MMA debut. He's been outstruck in the UFC by 2.15 strikes per minute. Better grappling stats than Rodrigues, plus 135. Rodrigues, very unique nickname, KR, his initials, fantastic. I love it. He's 8-3, 4 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been submitted once, 1-2 in the UFC, lost for his last 3. He got submitted in his last fight. He's missed weight twice at flyweight, and now he is moving on up to a bantamweight. I think Alatengheili actually used to be a flyweight as well. Rodrigues 1-0 in Contender Series, was regional champion, an inch of reach over Alateng, 4 years younger, better striking stats, twice more active landing strikes. He's outstruck his UFC opponents and Contender Series opponents by 2.73 strikes per minute, minus 150. I wish I didn't have to go first here. Was this one hard for you at all?
No.
No.
But I won't tip my hand.
I know. He's got a poker face. I have written down I'm taking Rodrigues, but do I this is one of those fights like, do I really? Neither of these guys have been so very hot recently. Gumby's still not making a face for people who are just listening. He's stone faced here. I usually take the better striker, and that he is here, but will he be able to strike against the All right, well, I'm going with gut. This event is a strange one for me. A lot of fights were hard to pick, and I kind of just went with feel on a lot of them. Let's go with Alatengheili.
I agree.
All right, grappler over striker.
Not just grappler over striker, though. I honestly don't think Kleydson Rodrigues is a better striker. Like, go back and watch his fight. So, first of all, he's 1-2 in the UFC, right? Yeah. Do you know who his win was over?
Oh, his resume is really bad.
It's Shannon Ross, who, by the way, a stiff fart would knock out. You know, like
it was flyweights. Yeah, it was not flyweight. Yeah.
And Shannon Ross, again, maybe the weakest chin the UFC has ever seen, particularly for a flyweight. And his losses are to I can't remember who he lost to his last one, but his first, it was Basharat, brother. But the first one was to CJ Vergara, who again, I don't rate CJ Vergara really high, but if you watch that fight, the most important part of it is Kleydson Rodrigues is real wide with his punches, kind of loose with his hooks to the point where they don't go right to the target. And CJ Vergara took advantage of it. CJ Vergara backed him up. He hit the cleaner strikes, the straighter strikes, and Hailey Alateng does all of those things too. Then on top of that, Kleydson Rodrigues shot takedowns in that fight, and one of them, CJ Vergara just hips over on him and winds up in mount on one of Kleidson's takedowns. And for me, Hailey Alateng's got the wrestling where he could take it there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so for Kleydson to not like what he's seeing striking against CJ Vergara, who I rate lower in the striking realm than Hailey Alateng, he might try to wrestle here too, and he's going to wind up in a bad position. I couldn't believe this one was dog price for Hailey Alateng.
Yay, I guessed correctly, assuming Gumby is correct as well. So, yeah, There we go. I am going against the grain here, Gumby. I'm
Double dogs at the gate.
Double dogs playing fast and loose. No, not a care in the world. So we'll see where that takes me come Saturday. All right. Before we move on, I got to tell you about the NYRA, who are one of our sponsors, and we're thankful for that. You can bet the second jewel of the Triple Crown with NYRA bets. Sign up today for a $200 deposit bonus with promo code SGPN200. I'm putting pauses in sentences where they shouldn't really go. Join now to claim your $200 deposit bonus just in to claim. I'm now saying words that don't exist. It's because Gumby doesn't have a graphic on this.
I don't have a graphic. Yeah, I forgot about
reading it. Can you pretend you're a horse while I read it, perhaps?
I'm not going to do that.
Oh, I almost got him. Draw a picture of a horse and make it run across the screen. Join now to claim your $200 deposit bonus just in time for the Preakness at nyrabets.com/SGPN200. Get ready for non-stop action with NYRA Bets evening promotions. Bet $50 each on Belmont at the Big A and any track with the first post at 6 p.m. Eastern on Friday for a $10 bonus, win or lose. Need more? Earn a $15 bonus, win or lose, when you bet at least $75 each on Belmont at the Big A and Monmouth Park. Visit nyrabets.com to opt in. That's not all. Score big with a 20% bonus on your ticket winnings by hitting an exacta on any or all races at Belmont at the Big A on Sunday. Feature competitive edge with live money handicapping contests nearly every week. Enter the Friday feeder contest to earn your entry into the next $300 contest. Plus, win cash prizes and seats into next week's contest with the NYRA Bets Saturday contest. Registration closes before the Belmont at the Big A third race, post time on the day of each contest. Get in and get your bonuses at, this is the important part, nyrabets.com/SGPN200. Well, now the fact everyone knows I'm not off book, Gumby. I'm reading these ad reads, which is quite embarrassing. How about Underdog Fantasy graphic? You got one for that?
Oh yeah, hang on.
Yay! Now this one's memorized, so everyone knows. I'm just coming off the cuff. This is what I think about Underdog Fantasy. The NBA playoffs are here, and our sponsor Underdog Fantasy wants to make it a lot more interesting. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing the pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats like points, rebounds, assists, and so much more. Make entries of all basketball or mix and match across your other favorite sports. You can win up to 100 times your money, and it's a ton of fun. And yes, they do have the UFC there. Make sure you go to underdogfantasy.com. Check out the main screen because they always have daily specials on there. So check that out. Plus, new customers get a pick 'em special in the lobby when they sign up. And if that's not enough, Underdog will also be running a ton of different promos, bonus cash airdrops, specials, giveaways, and more throughout the NBA playoffs. So make sure to follow at Underdog Picks on Twitter to keep an eye out. Underdog is available in 30 plus states, including California, Texas, and Canada. They also just launched Champions, their player versus player format in Florida. Sign up with MMA SGPN, please, to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. All righty, ladies and gentlemen. I said ladies plural, as if. We're going back to the ladies for a fight here. Back down to women's strawweight. Piera Rodrigues. Notice I said Rodrigues, meaning she's not from Brazil, versus Ariane Carnelossi, who is from Brazil. So we have Brazil for Carnelossi, and Rodrigues is from Venezuela. So some South American fight action here. Will I tell you about Carnelossi first? Soriso is a nickname. Do you know what that means, Gumby? I haven't asked you for a while about these things.
I don't remember that one.
Smile, it translates to.
Okay.
Not smile killer. That's Faris Zaim. So Smile Carnelossi is 14-3, 9 knockouts, 2 submissions. Been knocked out once, submitted once. 2-2 in the UFC, 2-1 over her last 3, including losing her last fight. That was way back in May of 2022. Where has she been, Gumby? Brazil, I assume.
Yeah, that's safe, I guess.
Did she get hurt in that last fight?
I don't know.
I'm trying to, let's see. Maybe Lupita Godinez beat her by decision. So maybe she got hurt. Maybe she didn't. How's that for some handicapping, ladies and gents? Okay, she's not won a fight since October 2021. So going on almost 3 years now. Was a regional champion, 2014 Pro MMA debut. She's been outstruck in the UFC by 1.68 strikes per minute, plus 185. Rodrigues is La Fiera. Do you remember that nickname, Gumby?
The fire, the force, the
beast.
Sure.
It's all the same, right?
Yeah.
It all makes sense. She's 9-1 with 5 knockouts. So that is beast-like. That is fire-like. That is, what else? You say force-like. She's been submitted once. 2-1 in the UFC. The submission loss came in her last fight, but that was to a Canadian. I just mentioned a Canadian, Lupita Godinez. This is another Canadian, Jillian Rodrigues. Robertson. Jillian Robertson is who she lost to. That was back in April 2023. So she's coming off a bit of a layoff as well. 1-0 Contender Series. LFA champion. Used to fight at 125. An inch of height, 2 inches of reach over Carnelossi. Better striking stats, more active line strikes. And she has outstruck her Contender Series and UFC opponents by 0.48 strikes per minute. She's at minus 210.
I'm going to go with Piera Rodrigues. It took me a second on this one because Carnelossi hits a lot harder, but I think similar to the highly Alatengheili versus Kleydson Rodrigues fight, I really do think the sharper striking really lives with Piera Rodrigues. I worry she's too hittable. I worry she could get taken down. This negative 210 line is nothing I'm like running to the ticket window on or nothing I'm trying to squeeze into a parlay here or anything like that because look, Carnelossi, like I said, she hits hard. She's very powerful. She's sometimes hard to hit because she's so small. But I think Piera Rodrigues is going to be the sharper striker here. I don't know that I trust Carnelossi over 3 rounds anyway. It's maybe my least favorite play on the whole card, but I'm going to take Piera Rodrigues.
Yeah, I'm taking her as well. I think she has perhaps a future in this, but mostly it's fading Carnelossi in inactivity, and she didn't look. She lost her last fight, and let's go with Rodrigues here, and hopefully she doesn't all those negatives that you mentioned about her. Hopefully it doesn't catch up with her. At least not this fight. Yeah, this fight exactly. All right, back to the men's side, going way up to bantamweights. Abus Magomedov, a former fight night headliner, and now he's buried in the prelims. He's fighting Warlley Alves. So Warlley Alves from Brazil and Magomedov is from Germany, and this is 3 5-minute rounds, of course. At middleweight, Alves 14-7, 4 knockouts, 6 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted once, 8-7 in the UFC. However, that record was 8-4. He's lost 3 straight, and he's only won 1 of his last 5. He got TKO'd in his last fight. He's not won since January 2021. He used to fight at welterweight, 3-0, the Ultimate Fighter and the champion of his season. That was at welterweight. 2011 Pro MMA debut. Better grappling stats than Magomedov. He's been outstruck in the UFC by almost a strike committee. He's at minus 0.96. And on the board, he plus 240. Magomedov, 25-6-1, 14 knockouts, 6 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted twice. 1-2 in the UFC. 0-2 over his last 2, of course. He won 3 straight before that. He went 3-1-1 in PFL. He has multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt. sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Used to fight at welterweight, just like Alves. 2010 Pro MMA debut. 3 inches height, 6 inches of reach over Alves. More active line strikes. He's been outstruck in the UFC by 1.63 strikes per minute. Minus 275. They sure like this Magomedov guy, don't they? They pushed him quick. Yeah, pushed him quick, and now they finally realized maybe he's not at that level, and they give him a pretty winnable matchup here. So yeah, Magomedov is the pick. Alves is well past his best before date for sure. Magomedov is massive as well, and he's got way more power in the striking realm. So give me him at minus 275. Bounce back fight.
Yeah, it's a bounce back fight. I'm still in that weird zone where I don't know if Abus Magomedov is good or not. Because he's one of those people, we've talked about this before, that exist out there. Like Pete Rodrigues is another one that sticks out to me. Can we get him to fight somebody who I will be able to weigh him against? Right? Because on one hand, he beat the crap out of Dustin Stoltzfus in 30 seconds.
Yep.
And then you gave him Sean Strickland.
Yeah, main event.
And in a main event. And then bounce back with like, okay, well, he clearly isn't ready for Sean Strickland. So let's give him Kai Bohayo, right? Like,
yes,
dude, that is a nutty resume. And then they're like, okay, well, Warlley Alves has been knocked out 1 billion times in his life, so I'll go there. So like this fight will end, and I still won't know if Abus Magomedov is good at fighting. Yeah. He'll be 2-2 in the UFC with 2 wins by knockout, and I will have no freaking clue if he's good at fighting or not. But he's gonna knock out Warlley Alves because Alves, in his age, to your point, has gotten slow. He's been knocked out a bunch of times, chin checked a bunch of times. He's not the guy who fought Kamaru Usman all the way back then. And, to your point, you said about him being undersized. He's a welterweight. Warlley Alves is a welterweight. Whether he's fighting this fight at middleweight or not, he's a welterweight. And, that's just going to serve him really poorly in this fight.
Magomedov knockout plus 125. I see at one of the books, Gumby.
Okay, well, we're writing that down. And if you want to hear me talk about why that's an insane value, please tune into tomorrow's episode.
Yeah, I see him at -110, -110, plus 125. We can talk about books. We don't have a sponsor right now, and that would be at FanDuel. So there you go.
Shout
Get
out
out there. Shout out FanDuel. Get out there because I think it may
what
be.
about NYRA bets?
Yeah. Only if the horse is named Abus Magomedov. That would be a good name for a horse, would it not?
Yeah, I think so.
We're just horsing around this episode, aren't we, Gumby?
Oh, see what he did there.
You got a game time graphic for me? I'm going to tell people about game time.
You don't want to do it with nobody watching.
No.
All right, there you go.
Hey, all right, here we go. This is my personal feelings about game time. Actually, game time, I do use game time, so I'm not just reading this part. I was checking it the other day for tickets because the kid always wants to go to concerts. So game time is the spot. Not just for concerts, they got everything. MMA, they got sports, they got concerts, they got it all. And now they are also an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. The kid is going to 2 Blue Jay games next month too. He's living large, that youngest kid of mine, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch, with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Last-minute deals, as I said. That's their big thing. You can save up to 60% off buying last-minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. They also have flash deals, zone deals, seat views, as I mentioned, lowest price guarantee, lots of great stuff there. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, what are we moving on to now? We are back to the women's fights. I like that we have a lot of female fights on this here card. This one is at women's bantamweight, which isn't such a great thing as women's strawweight or flyweight. Tamires Vidal, Brazil versus Melissa Gatto, Brazil as well. 3 5-minute rounds, 135. We will tell you about Vidal first. Tratora is the nickname. Gumby will tell you what that means.
Tractor.
So she's a female tractor, I take it then, right? Because that's why the A.
Yeah, Tratora.
That's why the A's. Yeah. not a what's the guy's name? The tractor. There's another tractor, I think, isn't there?
I mean, there's like 100 of them. Tiago Trator.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, his is the male version of a tractor. She's a female tractor. She's 7-2, 1 knockout, 2 submissions. She's been submitted once. 1-1 in the UFC, 6-1 over her last 7, but she did lose her last fight. You know where I was going to say regional champ, but you know what promotion she was the champion, Gumby? She wasn't just a regional champ.
Wait, is it Samurai Fight House?
It is Samurai Fight House. SFH in the house. Samurai Fight House champion. Longtime viewers, listeners know that has a warm spot in our heart for Samurai Fight House. We've gotten too big to cover them for the time being, but hey, around Christmas time, if they put on some events, who's to say? Who's to say we don't cover them again? All right. Vidal used to fight up at featherweight, an inch height, 2 years younger than Gatto, better striking stats, more active landing strikes, and she's been outstruck in the UFC by 0.28 strikes per minute, plus 300, which is a big deal because she's fighting Gatto, who's taking a fight on short notice. So that kind of shows you the skill discrepancy here. Usually you got to fade short notice fighters. So, all right, Gatto, 8-2-2, 2 knockouts, 4 submissions, never been finished in a fight. 1-2 in the UFC, short notice fight for her, up a weight class. Usually she fights at flyweight, but she has fought at featherweight as well before. She was supposed to fight, what was that, about a month ago, maybe? And the fight fell through.
She's kind of been in a fight camp anyway.
Yeah. That was at flyweight, so now she just doesn't have to cut weight last minute. She has lost 2 straight fights. She's not won since December 2021. As I said, normally a flyweight. She has also been a featherweight before. She's outstruck her UFC opponents by 0.85 strikes per minute. She's got an inch reach over Vidal, better grappling stats than Vidal, and she's at -335. Gumby?
I actually like Gatto going up in weight. I think it's going to be good for her cardio, and also I think it's really going to help out the speed of her striking, because she's not going to be fighting these people who are like much fast. Like she fought Ariane Lipski at flyweight, and obviously she is not as fast as Lipski when it comes to striking. But I think her strength could play at 35. I don't think she's like oversized at 35. I think this is a good move for Gatto, even though I know she's doing it because it's on short notice. And I'll also just say, I'm fading Tamires Vidal. She looked terrible in both of her fights in the UFC. Who did she beat in the debut? Was it Ramona Pasquale?
Yes, who may have been the
Yeah.
worst UFC fighter that we've seen.
I mean, she's
really
not
bad.
She's not the worst we've ever seen because CM Punk had a
CM Punk is
contract.
true. All right, the
Yeah,
worst
but, like-
female fighter we've ever seen. She's maybe not.
No, it's got to be worse. Na Liang existed.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but like she's not good. And then she immediately lost to Montserrat Rendon in like a super lackluster fight where she couldn't get anything going. Gatto is really good. Like
Yep,
you know,
she is.
I know she's lost 2 fights in a row, but like the Victoria Leonardo fight was a sick one, and she looked really good in her sophomore effort. Like I think she's got tons of potential. I think moving up, getting a fight to get right here against Vidal, who I think it doesn't have much going for her. I think it's a good thing. So yeah, give me Melissa Gatto here.
We are going against my short notice stat here. We both are. For newer listeners / viewers, fighters to take fights on short notice only win 36% of the time. So it's pretty much
this is the 1 in 3.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much the most. It's the stat that I track that basically tells you the predicts the winner most accurately, other than just betting favorites the whole way through. So, all right, both in on Gatto. We're going back to the men's side, going way up to light heavyweights. Oumar Sy versus Tuco Tokkos. So we have France versus Great Britain. And this is the fight where we've had a lot of musical chairs going on. Actually, United Kingdom is where technically where Tokkos is from. All right, let's get to the right screen, shall we, Jeff? Tokkos, will tell you about first. 10-3, 6 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. This is his short notice UFC debut, and it's very short notice, 4 days notice, I believe. He's won 3 straight fights and 6 of 7. 2 straight wins have come via finish. He was 0-1 on the road to the UFC, but he fought a good fighter in that.
Zhang Ming Yang.
Yep. That loss has aged very nicely for him.
Really well.
Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Get sticky with it. I think I forgot to say the sticky part last time. All right. Mr. Tokkos, 0-2 in Bellator, plus 225. Sy, 9-0, 4 knockouts, 3 submissions. This is his UFC debut. And everyone's scared to fight him, Gumby. Everyone kept backing out of fights. He used to fight 2 straight fights. He's won via finish. He used to fight at heavyweight. 9 inches of reach over Tokkos, 5 years younger, minus 285. So kind of a smaller resume for these gentlemen. Gumby can fill in the blanks. Or am I picking first here?
You're up. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, I'm going to fade a guy debuting on short notice, 4 days short notice. So give me Sy. I like his resume. Obviously, I like the 9 inches of reach. I love the 5 years younger, especially since Tokkos, you would assume, is not coming in here on a full camp. So yeah, Sy's the pick. I'm not betting a newcomer at minus 285 though, so he's my official pick, but I don't think we'll put anything on it in real life though.
I don't have any problem putting it in a parlay. I'm going to differ with you on that one. I think you can find some value on Oumar Sy here because like I like Tuco Tokkos, which by the way, didn't he used to be George Tokkos? Am I wrong about that?
Maybe. Yeah, because I remember the last name. I don't remember saying Tuco Tokkos.
I want to say, yeah, that's delightful. That's a really fun name to say.
It is.
But anyway, Tokkos is my big issue with him is that if you watch that fight with Zhang Ming Yang, he's like really off put by having a reach disadvantage. Like you could tell he's a guy who's had a reach advantage in a lot of fights, or has felt like he has owned the striking distance and owned like sort of the pace of a fight. And when Ming Yang brought that to him, he was out of ideas. I don't think Sy will be like that because personally, I'm not really high on Sy's striking. But the fact that he's got a 9-inch reach advantage in the striking means what does Tokkos have to do? He has to close the distance, right? Like he has to get in the pocket. And what I am really high on with Oumar Sy is his wrestling. It's sensational. He gets on the legs, big slams. I don't think Tokkos is going to be able to deal with that well enough. I think he's going to repeatedly get taken down, especially because he doesn't have the distance advantage here. Like he can't strike from distance with a guy with a 9-inch advantage. He's going to have to get close enough to him. And when he does, I think Sy's going to grab the legs.
Yeah, 9-0, but some decent experience. He fought in KSW, right? A few fights at least.
Yeah, three of them.
And Octagon. I think Octagon he fought at least.
Yeah, he was on Octagon 20, so it was a way long time ago.
Yeah, and yes, George Tokkos and Tuco Tokkos, same person. So
all right, cool. That's what I thought.
There you go. You were right. All right, Gumby's always right, except when he picks against me, and then he's not right.
Haven't done that yet.
I know. Will we have a clean sweep? Let's see. We're to the main event of the prelims. Tom Nolan He is from Australia. Victor Martinez from the United States of America at lightweight. Martinez, the Brick, Vic the Brick, is 13-5 with 8 knockouts. He's been knocked out twice, submitted twice. 0-1 in the UFC, 7-1 over his last 8. Lost his last fight via TKO. That was back in February 2023, so he's been on the shelf. He's not won since September 2021, so almost 3 years. 1-0 Contender Series, regional champion, 2011 pro MMA debut, better grappling stats than Nolan. These guys have small resumes, though, in the UFC. He's outstruck his UFC opponents by 1.2 strikes per minute, plus 380. Big Train, Tom Nolan, 6-1 with 4 knockouts. He's been knocked out once. 0-1 in the UFC. Lost his last fight via TKO. 1-0 Contender Series, 7 inches height, 3 inches reach, 9 years younger than Martinez. So all that in Nolan's, all that in the big. I guess you would expect a Big Train to be bigger than a Brick. Bricks are small and stout. Nolan, more active landing strikes from Martinez. He's got a positive strike differential as well. He outstrikes his UFC and Contender Series opponents by 0.82 strikes per minute. Minus 485. He is the biggest favorite on the card.
So, quick word of warning. I'm 0 for 2 in predicting Tom Nolan fights. In his Contender Series fight, I said he'd get knocked out because he does the annoying tall guy defense thing where he leans too much.
Yep, lean back.
And then he fought Bogdan Grad, who just looked, absolutely terrible in there, and he pieced him up. And then in his sophomore fight, I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's not so bad at defense. And then he got absolutely pieced up. And so, I just had him in reverse. Should have happened the other way, and I would have been perfect. But with that being said, I like him here against Victor Martinez. Victor Martinez coming off of a knockout loss. Do you remember who he got knocked out by?
No, not at this point. No,
he got knocked out by the Monkey King.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
That's not a good sign, especially when you're fighting a guy who's got length and power like Tom Nolan. I like Jordan Levitt. I don't want to knock Jordan Levitt, but Jordan Levitt's not known for. He's not known for his striking, and for him to hit you with a knee and punches for a TKO, not a pretty thing when you're fighting a guy who's 6'3" at lightweight. Tom Nolan's got a huge reach advantage. I think even if he does the dumb tall guy defense stuff, he knocks out Victor Martinez here. So yeah, give me Tom Nolan on this one.
Yeah, I mentioned the size discrepancy. He is 6'3", in case you wonder.
6'3".
He cuts 155 pounds. So yeah, he can lean back all he wants. He's going to win this fight. Yeah, Nolan is my pick as well for this one. All right, there you go. Clean sweep. We are locked in, mind melded on this episode. Let's recap. Nolan, Sai, I forgot to put Gumby's name there. All right, name there. Nolan, Sai, Gatto as a short notice fighter, Magomedov, Rodrigues, and then we have fun with the dogs, Alateng and Demopoulos. Boom, there you go. All 7 prelim fights. Hopefully your son enjoyed this episode. I know he listens to it.
He does like to when I'm editing, he does like to look at what I'm doing, and he says, "Who's that guy with the beard?" And I'm like, "That's Jeff."
he's the guy that gave you that blanket that you like. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Put me over. All right. Hopefully the rest of you also enjoy the episode, whether you're a 4-year-old enjoying a birthday or not. We shall be back tomorrow. We got the main card. We got our fancy plays. What Gumby has already hinted at one of them, so get ready for that. In the meantime, you can find us in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. You can find us on Twitter at SGPN MMA, at Gumby Vreeland, at Jeff Fox Writer. You can find me there on Instagram as well. Get into my Substack. You can check out Gumby's artwork there at moneymma.substack.com. Get in my pick'em contest for this exciting fight card that we have. You can do that for free. Free subscription will get you access to the contest. Gumby's got Top Turtle MMA podcast. Did you tell us who's on it this week? Yes, you did.
I did. Chaos Williams, who's in the co-main event of this year card, and then Cody Davis, who's going to be fighting at LFA 185 or 184 this weekend. There
you go. Listen, I haven't listened yet, but I will as soon as it drops into my feed. You haven't dropped it yet, have you?
I have not. We had a
all right, good. Hey, I just want to make sure I didn't miss it. No problem. And of course, the YouTube subscribers keep going up. Thank you very much. Did you see Zhang actually call someone his Na Liang, which I think
his Na Liang?
Yeah, she's my Na Liang, which I think he meant as a compliment, which totally is not a compliment. And yeah, it was on our contender Road to the UFC episode.
Was it Kui Huiyan?
Yes. Yeah,
maybe it's just the new Chinese hope.
Yes, exactly. If you've not watched those, make sure you go back, watch and or listen to the Road to UFC, because that is this weekend as well, Saturday and Sunday morning. So it's going to be a fun weekend for us. So thank you everyone watching and subscribing on YouTube. And of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. So you can get sticky and sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We'll be back tomorrow. Gordina, Jeff Fox, Lil Monster, Gummy Vreeland. We shall talk to you then.